Ladies and gentlemen, gather your monocles and motor oil, because today we're talking about a car so aristocratic, so wildly impractical, that it makes a Bugatti Type 35 look like a village bicycle. Behold the 1924 Hispano-Suiza H6C Tulipwood Torpedo, a car made of wood, designed to race, and built with such excess that even a French poet might say, perhaps it is too beautiful to move. This isn't a car you drive, it's a car you recite poetry to. Ideally while wearing leather gloves and trying not to cry into your cognac. Before we polish the past, though, go ahead and subscribe. It keeps this channel running smoother than a Hispano straight six and stops me from launching a Patreon where we sell bottled pre-war exhaust aroma. All right, engines on, let's rewind to 1924. The Roaring Twenties, a time when jazz was loud, mustaches were louder, and Hispano-Suiza was building cars that made Rolls-Royce engineers weep into their tea. Founded by Spanish industrialist Damian Mateu, and powered both figuratively and literally by Swiss engineering legend Marc Burkigt, Hispano-Suiza wasn't just another luxury brand, it was the luxury brand. Its H6 model, launched in 1919, was so advanced that Rolls-Royce actually bought one to study how it worked, then pretended they didn't. But by 1924, luxury alone wasn't enough. Racing had become the new stage for ego and innovation. If you wanted to prove your engineering genius, you didn't host a banquet, you built a monster and sent it to Sicily. Enter André Dubonnet, French racing driver, pilot, inventor, and heir to the Dubonnet aperitif empire. A man so rich and daring that he made James Bond look like an underpaid valet. Dubonnet wanted something outrageous, a racing car light enough to embarrass the competition, but elegant enough to make spectators stop mid-champagne sip. So he commissioned Hispano-Suiza's new H6C Sport chassis, complete with a colossal 8-liter straight six derived from a WWI aircraft engine, and sent it to the Nieuport Astra Aircraft Company to be bodied. Yes, an airplane manufacturer. Because apparently, when you're André Dubonnet, you don't hire coach builders, you hire aerospace engineers. What they delivered was madness wrapped in genius. A car body made entirely of thin mahogany strips, each only 3 millimeters thick, fastened together with 15,000 tiny aluminum rivets. The result was a gleaming aerodynamic shell, part fuselage, part fever dream. Weighing just 160 pounds. You could almost lift the body off with 2 friends and a strong espresso. The craftsman at Nieuport shaped it by hand, curved wood over a lattice of ribs, sealed, varnished, and polished until it looked like a Stradivarius on wheels. Why tulipwood, you ask? Simple. Marketing. Mahogany Missile just doesn't have the same ring to it. When Dubonnet unveiled the finished car, it looked like a sculpture escaped from an art museum. A long tapering nose, a fuselage tail sharper than a fencing blade, and the shine of sunlight rippling across riveted grain. It wasn't a car, it was a hallucination made tangible. Then came the Targa Florio, Sicily's brutal mountain endurance race where cars died young and drivers older still. Against the odds, Dubonnet piloted the Tulipwood Torpedo to 6th place overall and 5th in the companion Copper Florio event. A wooden car, outrunning aluminum and steel across 13 hours of punishment. It didn't win, but it didn't break either. And that made it legendary. Under the hood, the numbers were just as ridiculous. That 8-liter overhead cam straight 6-bore and stroke 110 by 140 millimeters produced around 195 horsepower at 3,000 revolutions per minute. That's nearly 25 horsepower per liter, a figure that would make early Bentleys blush. Top speed, roughly 105 miles per hour, assuming your courage and your tires held together long enough to find out. The transmission was a 3-speed manual, each shift requiring the precision of a watchmaker and the strength of a blacksmith. But what really made the Hispano ahead of its time were the servo-assisted brakes, invented by Burkigt himself. They were so good that Rolls-Royce licensed the design. Yes, that Rolls-Royce. When your rival pays you to borrow your brakes, you know you've achieved automotive sainthood. After its racing glory, Dubonnet converted the car for road use. He added headlights, a windscreen, and a door. Singular. Just one, because apparently the other side was too pretty to cut into. He even added a giant side-mounted spotlight, as if the car wasn't already dramatic enough to blind pedestrians. The Tulipwood Torpedo went on to have one of the most fascinating afterlives in car history, passing from collectors to restorers to enthusiasts across decades. It survived World War II, bomb damage, and even the occasional improvement by owners who thought they knew better. By the 1950s, it resurfaced in Britain, where it was repaired somewhat heroically with plywood. In the 1960s, it gained stunning wooden fenders crafted by an elderly boat builder named Harry Day. Because who else would you trust with mahogany curves? It toured Europe, appeared in museums, and by the 1980s became a Pebble Beach darling, winning trophies for being both bizarre and beautiful in equal measure. Then, in 2022, at the RM Sotheby's Monterey auction, the Tulipwood Torpedo stunned the world again. It sold for a breathtaking $9.25 million, the highest price ever paid for a Hispano-Suiza. Not bad for something made of wood, rivets, and unfiltered 1,920 seconds audacity. Today, the Tulipwood Torpedo stands as one of the most remarkable machines ever built, a fusion of aviation, artistry, and outright lunacy. It's what happens when an engineer dreams like a sculptor and a racer refuses to believe that elegance and endurance are opposites. It's a car that turns historians into poets and poets into mechanics. And it reminds us that sometimes, to build something timeless, you have to think like you're slightly insane. To our viewers, you are the varnish on our mahogany, the rivets in our dreams, and the reason I haven't had to sell bottled Targa Florio dust as a side hustle. Until next time, drive something beautiful, tell great stories, and if you ever see a polished wooden rocket glide past in silence, wave. You've just met a legend.